Excuse me. So yeah, I haven't really done much since my last video, so pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. Really? Hmm. Man, there we go. So yeah, I'm just gonna do knits. Just do my usual. Just mix it up. Do some knits this row, and then the next row I'll do some purls. Mix it up. I'd just finished writing a story, and I'm not gonna talk about the story, but man, I was thinking, no, yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't want to. It's not that. It's not an interesting story, but it's just writing is fun. I've always enjoyed writing, and I remember. I don't know. I read a quote and it said, "Write what you know," and when I do that, I have so much fun writing. So what do I know? Well, I know the things that have happened to me in my past. So I write about them. I write about that stuff. You know, and it's easy and it's fun because I know. Because I know. You know what I'm writing about. It kind of reminds me of a movie, Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. Billy Crystal is he's teaching his creative writing class, and the lady student is reading her story out loud to the class. And it's about submarines and shit. And she doesn't know a fucking lick about submarines. But she's trying to write them. She wrote something about submarines, and she's like, instead of naming the proper, instead of giving the proper thing its proper name on a submarine, she just like writes the thing that opens up and lets the water in or something stupid like that. Yeah. Anyways, she doesn't know what the fuck she's writing about. That is such a funny fucking movie. And yeah, so as long as I don't do that, I'm okay. And I've done that before. I have done that before. I've taken creative writing classes and at like junior colleges and stuff. And then one day it hit me. I remembered that saying, I was like, oh yeah, I just write what I know. And boy, I tell you, man, talk about relaxing. Just takes, it takes me out, it takes me out. It's just good. It takes me out in a good way. And it's like, I don't know. I'll just give you, an example. The story I wrote tonight is probably, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 10 paragraphs, if that. Now, I'm not talking about James Joyce length paragraphs, or who the hell else would do that? Is right. I don't know how they do it, but it's just like this huge paragraph, and it'll be just one sentence. I think Charles Dickens did that too. A lot of writers were able to do that, and that's not what I'm talking about. No, like, little paragraphs. And that's average. That's more. I would say 80% of the things I like to write, 90% of them are short like that one. And it's nothing I struggle over to recall or anything. It just kind of comes. It just kind of falls out. and it does. It's like, how long does it take? Maybe an hour. So maybe 2 hours, because they're short. I'm just trying to sometimes I don't know, whatever. Just it doesn't take very long, because in my mind it's not a complicated story. I already know what happened, and some of the stuff I write about happened like 38 years ago or 20 years ago. I don't go into detail. Like I don't like doing that. I don't like saying, well, that on that day, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I'm horrible at it. Like on that day, the trees were this and that, and the leaves looked like this, and there's writers who can describe that kind of stuff in such a poetic manner that I'm not one of them. So, the word is minimal. There you go. That's the word. I'm a minimal writer. Minimal, I guess. Yeah, I'm a minimal writer. And that has a lot to do with my ADHD, all that stuff. Speaking of which, yeah, I'm not going to smoke cannabis on video anymore. And I'm not going to fuck around with the editing either, so I'm just going to go over here. And I'm not smoking cannabis. I'm going over here to check my toilet. Yeah, that's good. It's important. It's important. Oh, jeez. It's important to check on that toilet occasionally. This is an RV. Gotta check on the toilet. Like a lot. And I don't know what I was talking about. Writing. Oh yeah, minimal writing. And I got that from the authors I read. I enjoy reading. I'd say the majority of the authors I like to read are minimalists. They write short stories and stuff. I'll give you examples. There's a guy named Sherwood Anderson who wrote short stories. He also wrote Winesburg, Ohio. He wrote The Egg and Other Stories. That's my favorite. He wrote about the grotesques. These grotesques lived in Winesburg, Ohio, and he writes about them. And it's a fictional town. Anyways, and then I think Willa Cather, that Nebraskan writer. I can't remember any of her stories or novels or books, the titles, but I really enjoyed her stuff. The stuff of hers that I read, and I think she wrote some shorts. She was like one of the first women to wear pants all the time. Like she was from 19th century Nebraska, and what the fuck did I do? Dang it, I did it again. Not paying attention to what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. I just like the writing. I like her writing. She's cool. And then, I don't know, who else wrote short stories? Oh, Melville, Herman Melville. Oh, and Conrad, Joseph Conrad, he wrote some cool short stories, like The Secret Sharer. He wrote some really cool stories. I mean, that's what that movie Apocalypse Now is based on. Have you ever seen that? Oh, yeah, I'm sure you have. It's not based on The Secret Sharer. It's based on Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. So if you're a huge fan, or I mean, if you're a fan of the movie Apocalypse Now, about the Vietnam War, I would, if I were you, I would definitely go find the book if you haven't already read it. Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. Actually, I got it up there, but it's only about that thick. Yeah, I think it's that thick. It's not. Anyways. Yeah, he wrote short stories too. I just said that. And then, you know, all kinds of authors wrote. A guy named Raymond Carver, an author named Raymond Carver. I've read a lot of his stuff. Oh, and his widow, Tess Gallagher. I think she's still alive. Her poetry, some of her poetry. And so on and so forth. So anyways, you know, you write. If you're a writer, then you know what I'm talking about. You're also a reader. And then you become influenced by writers. You read, whether you like it or not. And you'll start to pick up, when you're able to hear the writer's voice, when you're able to hear the writer's voice as you're reading the story, excuse me, you'll be incorporating, you won't be copying the voice, but you will be incorporating that style, that flow, yeah, into your own writing when you write. Now, I mentioned Hemingway and I mentioned Chekhov. Hemingway couldn't stand Chekhov's writing. And both Hemingway and Anton Chekhov are considered two of the world's greatest short story writers, arguably. And but it's funny because when you read Hemingway, I mean, if you read Chekhov, a bunch of his short stories, and then go and read Hemingway's a bunch of his short stories, and you'll see Hemingway Hemingway's writing is very similar as Chekhov's. You know, it's very very short, and I don't know, is the word prose? Is that the word prose? You know, it's poetic. You know, very few words are used to tell the story, and the less words used, for me, is better because I'm understanding what they're saying a lot better. You know, they're not trying to fuck you up with all these huge words and shit like that. There's an excellent, I can't remember him, but anyways, so yeah, and so it's weird. It's like, why did he not like Chekhov? Why did Hemingway not like him when his writing was kind of similar, you know, to Chekhov's? That just doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, I think I'll do another road knit. And but that's what happens when you read that's what happens. And it's organic. It just happens organically. It's not like you try to sound like that author, or it's just whatever. Organic shit is things that happen organically. Man, that's such a, what do they say? What do the hippies used to say? It's such a turn on, man. It's such a turn on. And they're right. I don't feel like doing any knitting now. I bored myself talking. Thanks for listening.